Well, hey, friends, and welcome back to the show. Before we dive in today, I want to share a couple of things with you. First, I am hosting my very last live virtual experience with me for 2025 on December 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're talking about the 5 essential skills to become the woman who creates the life she wants. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be just the thing that you need to refocus, recalibrate, and just think differently about 2026. I know right now you're probably getting inundated with planners and with organization and systems and processes and all of that. And those things do work. But I'm going to be talking about the 5 essential skills that you need to get what you want in 2026. Because the only difference between where you are and where you want to be is your behaviors. And so if your behaviors are not aligning with the things you say you want, then we have to start there. So we're going to be talking about the 5 essential skills that are going to help you to become the woman who creates the life that she wants. It's always the who before the how. So you can go to martinewilliams.com/live experience, martinewilliams.com/live experience, or you can go to the link in the show notes and get registered for that. It's going to be amazing. And if you can't tune in live, there will always be a replay for you. Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I'm your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. All right. The second thing that I wanted to share with you is this weekend I went to my best friend's 50th birthday party weekend. Really, we kind of made a weekend of it. We've been best friends for over 30 years. And I know I talk a lot about on this podcast, self-care and having a girls' weekend, and that self-care is more than that. And it really is. But I will say that it is nice to get away. And I really want to encourage you to put more of these kinds of moments on your calendar this year for 2026. As you plan for the year, where can you go ahead and pre-plan time to connect with your friends, time to connect with yourself, time to just have some fun. Put that on your calendar first. It's a big rock. And if we don't get the big rock in first, all these little pebbles and sand and all the things are going to fill in your space. And we did just fun, silly games. We went to a place that's like this bungee exercise class that I've never done before, but I've always wanted to do. It was super fun. I used to be a gymnast, and so it was fun to kind of do some things that were similar to that. And then we actually hired a private little line dancer instructor to come and teach us some line dancing. So it was just really fun. I will say my back is like, what is happening to do all of that in one day? But it was really good for my soul. As you know, it's just been a really, really heavy season for me. And it just felt great to spend that time with some friends and get my mind off of all the things that have been going on. And so I can't stress enough the importance of doing things like that, and going ahead and scheduling them on your calendar now and put them in pink or red for heart. These are the things that are important to you and that will help you re-energize, refuel, so that you can go and tackle all the things that are on your to-do list and on your goal list for 2026. So today we're going to be talking about something that I really want you to hear, especially during a season where distractions are high and demands are heavy. And it's the concept and the difference between comfort and change. Because most women think that they're stuck because they're unmotivated or inconsistent or not disciplined enough. But that's not what's really happening. And if you've ever said those things before, I totally get you. But what's really happening is you're stuck because your comfort zone is stealing your capacity. And the things that you think are self care or taking a break are actually the things that are keeping you from the very life that you want. So today we're going to unpack why comfort feels safe but keeps you stuck, why your brain will always choose comfort over change, why change feels hard even when you genuinely want it, and how to build a life that you don't have to escape from. And I promise you, once you hear this, you'll start seeing your entire life differently. So, what is comfort actually? And when I say comfort, I don't mean like cozy blankets or warm drinks. Comfort in this context is anything that keeps you from feeling discomfort, growth, risk, responsibility, or truth. Comfort looks like overthinking instead of deciding. It's just more comfortable to sit and overthink than to actually make a decision. Comfort is scrolling instead of resting, like real resting. Comfort is doing the easy tasks instead of the important ones. It's saying yes to avoid conflict. It's staying in routines that don't work because they're comfortable. It's putting yourself last because it's familiar. It's what you've been doing. Comfort is pushing through because slowing down feels scary. Y'all, this is the one for me. This has been the one for me this year. Comfort is numbing instead of nurturing. It's planning endlessly instead of implementing. We've talked about that out here on the podcast before, how your brain loves knowledge. It doesn't love action. And so you could be planning and creating your planner and all the color coding and all of that, but you're not implementing. That's comfort. Comfort is waiting for motivation. Comfort is, I'll do it on Monday. I'll do it January 1st. And comfort isn't bad, but it is expensive because it's costing you clarity. It's costing you momentum. It's costing you capacity. It's costing you confidence, possibility, identity. It's costing you the desires of your heart, what you truly want. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it steals your life in the long term because it keeps you where you are, because that's where the comfort zone is. And what change actually requires, change kind of gets romanticized as like, well, getting motivated and setting new goals and trying harder. But real change, sustainable identity level change requires something very different. It requires discomfort, like holding the capacity to feel discomfort. It requires awareness. We have to get our heads out of the sand and acting like things don't need to change and actually looking at with awareness where change is needed. It requires emotional capacity. As an entrepreneur, I was just having the conversation with a client, you have to be able to hold the emotion of discipline, of desire, of uncertainty, of fear, of being new, trying new things. Like, it requires emotional capacity. It requires new thoughts. Change requires new thoughts. If you are just trying to change your behavior, but you haven't changed your thoughts, it's gonna feel like an uphill battle, even more so. It does require new behaviors, and it requires support. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And change is saying no when you're used to saying yes. And that's going to feel uncomfortable. So that's why it's not about comfort. Change is choosing rest when you're used to proving yourself. Again, this is one where I'm like, okay, I'm speaking it to you, but I'm also speaking it back to me. Change is letting yourself feel instead of fixing. Another one that I feel like the Lord's just been pounding on me in this season, allowing myself to feel the grief and feel the ambition, feel the discomfort of these emotions that I've had to process over the last 3 months, and still wanting to show up for my clients and still wanting to hold this live experience that I'm going to be doing on December 17th. Like, it's letting yourself feel all of it versus trying to fix it. It's showing up imperfectly instead of waiting for perfect. I'm showing up in a very different way on this podcast and probably here on this webinar as well. Like, you probably feel it in the tone of my voice. It's just a little different. It doesn't mean I'm any less valuable. It's that I'm giving myself permission to show up imperfectly, in the grief, in the sadness. Change is breaking habits that were built for survival, not success. Your brain is going to go to survival mode versus success. Change is deciding instead of delaying. Deciding instead of delaying. Like, there is so much energy that is wasted on indecision. Should I do this or should I do this? Or should I try that or should I try that? And let me just tell you, I've wasted a lot of energy in that zone. So I get it. But change is deciding instead of delaying. It's investing in yourself instead of shrinking your needs. Change is uncomfortable because it disrupts the patterns you've practiced for years. Your brain loves comfort because comfort feels safe. But the woman you're becoming, the woman that your dreams are going to require of you in 2026, she's not built in comfort. She's built in courage, she's built in alignment, and she's built in action. Quick pause. If you've been listening and you're ready to stop performing your life and start leading it, if you know you're ready to feel better now, not later, and you're ready for support that actually creates sustainable transformation, I have private one-on-one coaching spots open. And inside this coaching, in Illuminate You coaching, we don't guess. We use your unique personality blueprint built from the science-backed personality performance tool called the ProScan, the one you've heard me talk about here in the podcast. This is used so that every decision, every boundary, every shift is designed specifically around your wiring, not someone else's. This is my aligned success method. It's not hacks. It's not try harder. It's not mindset glitter. It's a real solution. It's rooted in science, strategy, and your unique design. So you can lead your life as the woman you actually are, not the woman others expect you to be. You don't need a new year to make a new decision, friend. Now is the time. Take the step. Book your clarity call at martinewilliams.com/clarity. All right, back to the episode. So here's what comfort versus change looks like in everyday life, just to give you some examples. So comfort is, I'm going to hit the snooze button and then I'm going to start my day feeling overwhelmed or behind. Change is setting rhythms that support your energy so you wake up steady, not stressed or feeling behind. Comfort is saying yes to avoid disappointing someone. Like, this is a big season for that. How many things have you said yes to already because you're afraid to disappoint someone? You don't want to feel that emotion. So it's just more comfortable to say yes to avoid feeling disappointing, like you're disappointing someone. Change means saying no because your capacity matters. Comfort is buying the planner, the courses, and the gadgets. Change is getting support so you actually implement and follow through. But getting that support requires you to ask for help. It requires you to invest your time and your resources and your money. And that feels uncomfortable. But it's what is going to be required so that you can implement and follow through. Comfort is avoiding feelings because they're inconvenient. This is, again, a sticking point for me, or has been. It's just inconvenient for me to allow myself to feel the grief or to sadness. I don't have time for that, is a thought that I used to have. And it kept me comfortable. It kept me in not giving myself permission to feel those feelings. Change is letting yourself feel and still choosing the aligned next step. Allowing yourself to feel. Comfort is doing everything for everyone. That's probably your comfort operating system, is just doing everything for everyone. Change is leading your life instead of performing it. You're performing, you're proving, you're perfecting, you're people pleasing. That's comfort. That's what you've been doing. Change is leading your life instead of performing it. Comfort is waiting until January. there's something right now that you're thinking about and you're saying, I'm going to wait until January. That's comfort, because comfort is keeping you from implementing right now, today. Change is taking one aligned step right now, today. It doesn't feel comfortable, but it's the change that's required. Change doesn't require force. It requires alignment and support. It requires getting really clear on what it is you want, not being ashamed of what you want, and then getting in alignment with your behaviors to actually get it. And that also requires support. So why do we keep choosing comfort when we actually want change? And this is big. Your brain is always scanning for safety. It's scanning for predictability. It's scanning for familiarity, and it's scanning for efficiency. So even when you want change, there's probably zero of you listening today when you think about what you want that you're not saying, I want to change. But your brain will pull you towards old patterns because they're just easier to execute. Like, I am a pro at performing, y'all. It feels easier to perform versus to lead some days. It feels easier to perform my way through hard seasons than to allow myself to lead myself through the hard season. And that's why so many of you and so many women that I coach say, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. Have you said that? I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. The gap is not laziness. It's not inconsistency. It's not even a character flaw. It's untrained thought patterns and unregulated emotional capacity. This is the gap that coaching closes. This is the gap when someone comes into my coaching. This is the gap that we close. Is the thoughts you're thinking aligning it with the behaviors and the emotional capacity required to implement. This is why you hear me talk about coaching on this podcast, because it's the bridge from comfort to change. Knowledge doesn't create change. Most of us don't have a knowledge problem. We have an implementation problem. So it's not knowledge that's not creating your change. Motivation doesn't create change. Inspiration doesn't create change. Implementation creates change. Identity work creates change. Who is the woman that I need to become in this season? Who is the version of me that needs to show up in this season to get this result for myself? It's always the who before the how. It's support that creates change. And this is what we experience, what my clients experience when they come into coaching. It's what I've experienced when I've come into coaching. I've had a coach in my life for the last 20 years of some sort. Because when you come into coaching, I can help you build that emotional capacity to tolerate discomfort. I tell this to my clients all the time, we're not trying to skirt around the hard. That's solving the wrong problem. It's building the emotional capacity to tolerate the hard. Change is hard. How you tolerate it is the difference in actually pushing through and giving up. Inside the coaching, I can help you upgrade your thought patterns so they work for you. So you're thinking the most empowered thoughts to move you forward. It's helping you to identify what actually drains you or fuels you. We talk about the ProScan as the personality and performance assessment that each one of my clients takes as a foundation of our coaching, because it helps me to identify with you what actually drains you and what actually fuels you. And from there, we can create rhythms that match the real season that you're in. Not what someone else is doing or what this person is telling you to do. It's creating your own rhythms that match the season that you're in. And it also help you align your behavior with the woman you want to become. Because again, you want something, you don't have it. It's all boils down to the behaviors. Aligning your behaviors with what you say you want and who you need to become to actually do that. It's stop performing and start leading. I can help you stop performing and start leading, because that's the work that I've been doing in myself. is what does it look like to lead versus perform? Expanding your capacity without burning out. I know my capacity and I can teach you what your capacity is, and I can also grow my capacity when it's required in a really healthy way without burning out. And this is also what I teach my clients. And then breaking survival patterns that you've been carrying for decades. A lot of women come into coaching and I tell them it's a process. You've had patterns probably for years, some of you for decades, and it's going to take some time to unwind some of that. And this is why coaching creates identity level transformation. It doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are while you do it, because that's how you sustain it. Who you become, the self-concept you grow, the woman you become in the process is what makes it transformational and sustainable. So if you're listening and you're thinking, I want change, like I'm just tired of trying to do this. I'm tired of saying I want something and then being motivated maybe in the beginning or inspired in the beginning, and then it fizzles out in like 30 days, fizzles out after the first month, fizzles out in the first week maybe. I want you to hear me here. Being tired is not the problem. Doing it alone is. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more information. You have information at your fingertips right now. You don't need a new planner. You need support that helps you to think differently, to feel differently, to behave differently, to lead differently, and then live differently. Comfort will soothe you. Change will transform you. And change happens when you take one aligned step at a time. And your next step is very simple after listening to this podcast. One, you can go register for my live experience coming up at martinewilliams.com/live experience, or you can go to the show notes or book your clarity call. This gives you and I time together to talk through where you are, what your patterns are, what the problem is, what the real solution is, and then how to get there. And we're going to talk through all of that. And it's just such a valuable time, even now, when you're like, I can't find an hour for myself. If you can't find an hour for yourself, this is why you need the clarity call, to create more time for yourself, to create more breakthroughs for yourself, to create better thoughts, better actions, and better self-leadership. So you go to martinewilliams.com/clarity, no pressure, just support, just truth, just conversation, and just the beginning of the life you've been trying to build on your own. I'm believing in you always. I hope this podcast was helpful for you today, and I can't wait to see you either on the live experience or on a clarity call. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.